And speaking of gratitude, as we get to the end of our day, please help me welcome and thank the devoted, curious, lifelong learner who has a great passion for the future of North Dakota and continues to lead with vision and courage, Governor Burgum.
We have a lot of people to thank. We're going to close with gratitude and challenge. But first of all, I want to start off with let's give it up for Maria Nessett, Policy Advisor, Governor. Great job emceeing today. Way to go, Maria. Maria mentioned earlier that she loves teaching second grade. Turns out, since we've hired her, I'm thinking about hiring only second grade teachers to work on the governor's staff, because that must be the right age group for managing me and your time and trying to get you to the next thing and giving you clear goals and assignments. But doing a fantastic job. We're grateful for her, grateful for Jay Spieler, our chief of staff, and the whole team here today. I mean, I think we had Mason and Amra and Mike and Mary and Cam and a whole bunch of team from our office, that small but mighty team that was working to help put this on with all of you. But I want to thank all of you for participating, that were here in person, people that are here, that are also here virtually and are watching online. That's great. And also from a gratitude standpoint, we want to thank all the administrators that were here, the school board members are here. We know we had some school nurses here, paraprofessionals, people that work in administration, the parents were here, the parent panel, community leaders, legislators that have stayed here all day. Thank you. I want to thank all of the sponsors that you saw in the slides for their generosity in making this conference possible. I want to say again, thank you to all the door prize donors that allowed us to do all that stuff that we were out before, the food trucks, Dickinson Public Schools. We had a bunch of student volunteers. We had students that were attending. And of course, a special thank you. Let's give it up for all the people that won Innovative ND Awards. Thanks to everybody on that list. What a fantastic day. Got to plug some upcoming events that relate to all of what you do, because when we're talking about the whole student and the whole education, we've mentioned these again, but Recovery Reinvented is coming up November 10th, Alara Center at Grand Forks. Either attend in person or you can attend virtually. And if you're saying, oh, don't have time, I got to do this, got to do that. Last year, we had hundreds of people that built into their curriculum attending a Recovery Reinvented. They set up a classroom, they had a link connection, they had discussions about the speakers before and afterwards. We even plugged this into most of our corrections facilities, where they had groups of people watching it and then talking about the speakers, and others are there. So you can actually use Recovery Reinvented around content, behavioral health, mental health, recovery workplaces, recovery high schools, however you want to do it. Figure out a way to build that into what you're doing and take advantage of all the national speakers, all the content. And that has grown. I think last year there was people from 30 states that were watching it, but incredible. November 10th, mark it on your calendar, built it into your curriculum. Next one, same thing, Main Street event, a little longer event. It's going to run October 24th to the 26th at the Bismarck Event Center. But again, you're saying, well, what's the connection? Well, you heard today about the great work and the award winner on Future Cities. We had a couple years ago, because again, this idea that people can work from anywhere, they can also learn from anywhere. This idea that we've got to build healthy, vibrant communities, and how do we do that? So Main Street is about workforce, it's about smart, efficient infrastructure, and it's about healthy, vibrant communities. And you can't have a healthy, vibrant community if you don't have a great educational system. And that educational system includes the arts, it includes athletics, it includes all the things that surround that. In rugby, one of the awards we gave out at the Main Street a couple years ago was to Kevin Lear. Mr. Lear had a class. Is he here today? No, but you're just part of the Kevin Lear fan club from rugby. Who's here from rugby? Other people from rugby, raise your hand if you're from rugby. Oh, you're from rugby. Okay, you're like me. When someone says Arthur, then I cheer, and maybe I don't even know him anymore. But woo! Okay, but anyway, so rugby. I'll say rugby. You cheer. Rugby. Okay, all right. So Kevin Lear, taking the flexibility that we've given them, created a Main Street initiative class, They got everybody that was in that class, juniors and seniors, they went and met with every business in town. And they said to those businesses in town, is your business on Google Maps? Is it on Apple Maps? Is it on Bing Maps? If somebody's trying to find you, do you know how to do that? And they're like, what's that? I mean, how do I pin myself on a map? Rugby might be the most pinned town in America because they got everybody in town. I mean, it has got a business is now you can find them on any of these mapping products. They measured buildings on Main Street that were closed and figured out what was the size of them and the dimensions and what would it take per square foot to rehabilitate them and the cost of construction and what kind of businesses should go in there. They were re-envisioning their own city and how they could do that. I mean, they built a whole class around Main Street initiatives, and they talked about, hey, if we did this infill project between these two old buildings downtown versus built something new out by the edge, what would that cost the city in terms of infrastructure? So there's so many things that we can teach these future leaders about that. So anyway, the summit provides community leaders with direct access to tools to help capitalize on their community strength and planning decisions. We have so many communities in North Dakota. I think 50 or 60 have signed up to become Main Street communities. If your school is in a Main Street community and you're not connected to that, you should think about bringing a student group to the Main Street thing. I mean, talk about an awesome field trip and awesome speakers, booths and all the stuff that are going on there. So think about how to have these be the in-school, out-of-school, separate from, place and space learning experiences, because again, it's fantastic, and they're also going to may spark some career ideas that they have for themselves as well. Coming up more quickly, next week, we've got the Government to Government Conference. This is the top state, tribal, federal conference in the country. We say that because we've heard that from the federal folks, that either states don't have this conference or they've been to them and they're not this comprehensive or this participatory from the leadership standpoint. But this is happening next Monday and Tuesday, and it's happening in Bismarck next week at the Bismarck Event Center. But this thing is going to cover, and we're going to have, we'll get reports from all the 5 tribal nations. We'll have breakout sessions on creating safer communities. We'll have breakout sessions on cybersecurity. We're going to have breakout sessions on behavioral health and addiction. We're going to have breakouts on how to be more culturally inclusive. We're going to discuss everything that you would want people to understand if you care about education in our state. Because if you say, where are we challenged in education? And you said, where do we have lowest performing schools? Our lowest performing schools, sadly, happen to be, in our tribal areas. Every one of those students is a North Dakota citizen. They may also be an enrolled member, but they're a North Dakota citizen. And so if any of you have pride in our state rankings versus other states, if any of you say every student in our state ought to have an equal opportunity to excel and have an equal opportunity for education, then we need to start caring more as a state, as a community, about the quality of education, and we can make this happen. So we'll be there. You can register at indianaffairs.nd.gov. Still time to register to come to that event, and also a number of those things are going to be online. If you can't get there, check it out. You can't watch it on Monday and Tuesday, watch it later. Use some of the keynotes or the presentations, as curriculum or discussion material for your class. And lastly, many of you have not missed this, and I thank you for that. When I said before, hey, legislature passes all this amazing stuff. We got a toolkit for innovation on waivers and pathways and Learn Everywhere that's as exciting as anything in the country. The cyber, the K-20W initiative, all these things are amazing. But we need broader, faster adoption. We need what Joel was talking about. We need the acceleration component, because for some reason, people feel like, hey, either we can't or we're not incented or whatever, and we're going to do it the way we did it last year. And I keep thinking about 12,000 students that keep graduating each year that are missing out on some of the things that we heard about from these award winners today that are going on in their schools. So I guess I'm asking that all of you help create a sense of urgency, and one way to do that is to double or triple or quadruple the size of this conference. I mean, if every one of you comes and tells somebody, hey, this was great, we need to come, or if you leave this one and then you say, look, you missed something, but you should watch this panel or hear this thing or see this presentation at this thing, I'd be grateful if you would do that. We don't have the specific date yet. We do have a location. We'll have a date out shortly. We'll send it to everybody that was registered here, so you've got the date for next year. I'd also love to have the collaboration. We pick the date, we put it out there ahead of time, and then school districts plan stuff at the same time. How about we plan it adjacent as opposed to on the same day? Wouldn't that be cool? And we'll work, I believe that people got credit for this if you were, for in-service training, if you were here today. Get the word out to your peers, your friends, your neighbors, and others to be able to do that. But next year we're going to be hosting this at West Fargo Public Schools. You'll keep an eye out for that elementary school panel that we'll have next year, but it is, and lots of other fun things to make it even better. But we'll send you an announcement shortly about the date, but would love to see all of you back again next year, and would love to see you bring like 10 of your peers next year, because this is that important, that what we're doing here, trying to accelerate and take advantage of the tools that we have. So in closing, just want to say again, thank you to all the speakers, thanks to all the panelists. We've had some great learning today. It was an honor to have Air Force General Craig McKinley here today to bring his perspective from the work that he's done nationally on the social emotional learning and the importance of that. And all of the panelists that we had today, the parents, the educators, this last panel talking about Choice Ready with Joel and with President Jensen. Again, thanks to all of you who participated in creating the great content. And again, in closing, thanks to all of you. I mean, it's like this is literally the choir. You're the innovators. You're here because you've made time for this, and you believe in this, and you care about it, and you care about not just the students you're working with, but you care about the future of education. And you probably wrote down and remembered the challenges that I issued this morning and that I've touched on right here, which is, again, thank you for embracing the tools and the flexibilities that are available. We know that those schools that did the innovation waivers are here. We know the people that are working on Learn Everywhere are here. We know the people that are working on pathways to graduation are here. We know the people that are driving on cyber security and education are here. We know those that are working on CTE in a deeper way are here. Okay, you are all here. Thank you. But the challenge is then, how do we take the stories that all of you are doing and the success you're doing, and we drive that out more quickly? We accelerate that adoption across the state. So to do that, we want to continue to shine the light on all the work that you're doing. So please, make sure that we're aware so we can use our bully pulpit, so to speak, to try to help everybody understand the great work that is happening by the leaders in innovation in our state around the work to help every student reach their fullest potential, to help every student be choice ready by the time they graduate, to strengthen our economy, strengthen our communities, and strengthen our families. So thank you for all that. And so in the other piece that I would say, so part of that is sort of within the education community, but we know this isn't just the education community. It's the larger community. And the awards that we gave today, many of the people you saw that we gave awards to are working both inside the classroom and outside. They're working in the school district community and in the community itself. They're bringing together the partnerships to make that work. You heard from President Jensen on BSC that we have to get more engagement from the private sector. And I think there's a lot of private sector businesses in our state that they go, yeah, maybe I have a partnership, maybe I do a donation, maybe I go to a banquet at the university. We need them to show up and be connected to K-12. This is their future workforce too. This is their community. This is all they do. So again, I don't know how we develop a thing and what it looks like in terms of outreach and development, but there has to be in the K-12 system that every school district is figuring out, who are my partners? Is it a state park and rec that's next door? Is it a historical society? Is it a private sector business? But we got to be thinking beyond the walls and building these relationships and these regional collaborations. We're too small. We only have 780,000 people, in our entire state. That's every man, woman, and child. We know there's school districts, in like LA County that have more people than we have in the whole state. We've got to collaborate. We can't run in silos in a state that's this small and this geographically this large. But with that, we have the opportunity, we have the dollars, and we've got the ideas, we've got the flexibility, we've cut the red tape. We're setting the pathway to have North Dakota's education system be the best in the nation for the future. Not the best by way we used to measure it, the best by what the future that's coming. So if you had colleagues that weren't able to be here today, again, thank you for telling them about today. And if you're interested in something you want to go back and watch, you want to tell somebody else, you want to show it to your class, you're in your class, the posting, the links will be on the governor's website at nd.gov, easy to find. And then there's also, from there, you'll see the links at the ND Governor's YouTube channel. We'll post all the keynotes and all that. So again, thank you for helping to spread the word. In closing, I just want to offer a very brief thought. Going back to the Jamestown High School Choir, the second number that they sang today should be the theme song for today. Their second song, if you heard it, very moving, I Can Make a Difference. How empowering for those students to have a teacher like Mrs. McIntyre that's there, these inspirational, uplifting songs where they're all there. You can see in their eyes, they believe they can make a difference. They can make a difference. When I opened this morning, I said that it didn't matter how many people attended. It's not like, did 1,000 people watch this video? If one of you goes back and makes a difference in a student's life, that could change things for the generations to come. So my challenge to all of you is to listen to that song, believe that you can make a difference, be the one to make a difference, and leave here today committed to just not say, hey, I've checked a box, I went to a conference. Leave here that you're going to do something with information to make your classroom, your school district, your community better than it was before, because we're transforming education together through innovation. So thank you for being the one. Thank you for being here today. Have a fantastic trip home. Go North Dakota, greatest place on earth. Thank you.